Good evening. You are tuning in to AWANI Tonight with me, Cynthia Ng. More leeways announced. Cinemas live shows to resume this Thursday. And 10 days to the start of travel bubble. Is Langkawi prepared? That's coming up. The entertainment industry will be reopened to fully vaccinated individuals in Phase 1 states under the National Recovery Plan. Among others, cinemas will be allowed to operate with 50% capacity limit starting this Thursday. In a statement this evening, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said filming in and outside studio for fully vaccinated individuals will be permitted. Live performances, including musicals and theatres at 30% audience capacity in the studio space, will also be allowed. According to Ismail Sabri, more than 1 million Malaysians, including artists and workers in the industry, will benefit from the SOP relaxation. New COVID cases climbed to 18,547 nationwide today, with Sarawak reporting the highest number of infections at 3,200 cases. However, with majority of the cases mild or asymptomatic, Health Minister Kari Jamaluddin says this could reflect a shift towards an endemic phase of the pandemic as Malaysia moves closer to achieving herd immunity.
Ya, kita sudah semak dengan Kerajaan Negeri Sarawak dan perkara ini pun dah disemak oleh Tan Sri Ketua Pengarah. Kita dapati bahawa 99% daripada kes mereka adalah kategori 1 dan 2. Berapa? 4 orang sahaja, kategori 3, 4 dan 5. Ya. Dan ini menunjukkan bahawa dalam fasa yang kita melaksanakan peralihan kepada fasa endemik, seolah-olah kita hidup dengan virus ini, masih lagi ada jangkitan. Ya, masih lagi ada jangkitan, tetapi kesannya tidak teruk sangat.
Speaking in Sabah today, Kari said that he will head to Sarawak soon to study the situation and the effects of variants of concern such as Delta. Kari indicated that Sarawak was facing similar issues as in the UK, where herd immunity was achieved, but COVID-19 cases continued to be high and were mostly with mild symptoms. 87.7% of the adult population in Sarawak has been fully vaccinated. More than 40,000 people have lost their jobs in Malaysia as of August this year. According to Human Resources Minister Datuk Seri M. Saravanan, the data shows that in a month, an average of 5,811 cases of loss of employment were reported.
He said SOCSO's employment insurance system is monitoring the loss of employment trend daily. This is to provide protection to workers who lost their jobs for various reasons, including redundancy, voluntary or mutual separation schemes, closure of companies from natural disasters, bankruptcy or constructive dismissal. The government has introduced various measures to alleviate the burden of the people and ensure businesses can continue to operate. This includes pemulih programs such as the Wage Subsidy Program, Penjana Kerjaya and Kerjaya Gig, which are targeted at employers, employees, job seekers and self-employed.
De facto Law Minister Datuk Seri Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar said the government will comply with the court order to implement Undi 18 by December 31st. He said there are no plans to appeal against the Kuching High Court ruling last week. The High Court in Kuching, Sarawak directed the government and the Election Commission to lower the voting age from 21 to 18 by the December 31st deadline. Wan Junaidi said as of now there is no directive from the government to appeal. Hence, what is decided by the court is the law that needs to be abided by. The new voting age was approved by Parliament in 2019 but has yet to be implemented. Meanwhile, Wan Junaidi said Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob does not need to go through a vote of confidence in Parliament. He said the message was conveyed by the Prime Minister when he chaired his first cabinet meeting last week. Wan Junaidi explained that the vote of confidence was not stated in the country's system nor the law, but it had been done before to show that the Prime Minister had majority support. According to him, Ismail Sabri said the king had met with lawmakers who stated their support for him and was of the opinion the MPs would not have changed their stand in such a short time. As such, he said, Majesty said that he has been given consent that there was no need for a vote of confidence. Langkawi Island is slated to reopen for tourism under the travel bubble program starting September 16. The Johor state government also hinted today the possibility of reopening popular tourist destinations under the same scheme. Now, with COVID cases still at a high, we asked Malaysian Association Tour Agency President Datuk Muhammad Khalid Harun on how to set up safe travel bubbles.
One way to avoid overcrowding, he said, was for hotel managements to set a capacity limit.
Now people are using technology. Systems of bookings are done online, all right? So is the best systems now. Okay, first, people going there, they need accommodation. All right, in order to see, like the hotel, okay, when they receive bookings, they receive booking according to the date set, meaning that they can schedule the arrivals of the people according to their capacity of. So people going to this place according to this, meaning to say that if all the hotels there, how many rooms they have? So at one stage, how many percent occupancy they can take up? So they can reach and can schedule this so people are not really going there at one go.
He reiterated the importance of enforcement. Government authorities must not turn a blind eye to SOP violations.
A random check should be done by the authority, whether they see that, say, for example, a hotel, they're supposed to be only maybe according to the rate, okay, according to the change of this one, is only about how many percent? Should not be 100%, because 100% could, if they are 100% full on the first day, when people are checking out, then there will be some rooms that will be empty for sanitization. So there must be a random check on this. Then only I think it works. If there is no control or oversee by the authority, then these loopholes that people can abuse the systems.
With less than 10 days till the start of the Langkawi travel bubble, what questions remain unanswered? Tonight on Consider This, we ask stakeholders how to ensure Langkawi's reopening is a success. That's coming up right after AWANI Tonight. We will take a quick break. Stay with us. Selangor Darul Ehsan, the country's leading GDP contributor, with a workforce of over 3.6 million, is primed to become ASEAN's gateway for business. How is Invest Selangor playing its role in contributing to this? From industrial parks to aerospace, we will touch on digitalization and e-commerce, and how companies are braving through these challenging times. It's all going to be right here on Investment Insider Season 2, only on Astro AWANI. Welcome back. The youth activism platform Undi 18 has expanded its movement with Undi Negaraku, which aims to cultivate 10,000 youth leaders by 2023. Here to talk about the new program is Kira Yusri, co-founder of Undi 18.
Undi Negaraku aims to be a comprehensive nationwide network for young Malaysians who are interested to explore concepts such as voter education, giving back to the community, advocacy, and even policy research as well. So it aims to be a platform to cover these kinds of topics that's very inclusive, hence why we want to go into every state to form these state chapters. I think one of the reasons that we saw the success of Undi Sabah and Undi Sarawak two regional programs that we have seen bloom over the past, I think 1.5 years since we started it. While we created those programs, it's now entirely run by Sabahans and Sarawakians themselves to talk about voter education, democratic empowerment, and so on.
Kira said application for Undi Negaraku has opened with exciting programs and activities lined up.
We're going to be opening applications. I think we've opened applications for memberships already. Soon enough, I think we'll be forming communities according to the states, and then we'll be introducing what the structure would look like. So we want to introduce elections. We want to get young people to campaign and to run for elections within those state chapters, so that they can have the mandate to execute programs, activities within their own communities. And then afterwards, Undi Negaraku will also be providing modules such as community building, intersectional leadership, policy research, even organizing activities like debates, sports, so that they can form their own community building and also bonding among their own community.
In anticipation of Undi 18 finally being passed, Kira hopes that Undi Negaraku will serve as a learning platform for future young voters.
I think Undi 18 will be implemented this year. So when that law finally comes into action, we will have 1.2 million people, that will have to be ready to become voters at that point. So I think that's where our sense of urgency comes from. That's where we find purpose in, and we realize that Undi Negaraku is so important because we cannot just rely on parents, just rely on schools to educate them, right? Because we're in a pandemic, we're in like uncertain times, and everyone has to play a role.
Cuba became the first country in the world to vaccinate children as young as 2 against COVID-19 using homegrown vaccines not recognized by the World Health Organization. The country aims to get all children inoculated before schools reopen. The country of 11 million people is using locally produced COVID-19 vaccines, Abdallah and Soberana. Although not approved by the WHO, local clinical trials have shown that the two vaccines have an efficacy rate of more than 90%. Cuba started vaccinating children 12 and older last Friday. Authorities have said schools will reopen gradually in October after all children are vaccinated. Students have been attending schools through lessons on television programs due to the lack of universal internet access in the country. El Salvador becomes the first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. It is the cryptocurrency's biggest test in its 12-year history. And if the experiment turns out to be a success, other countries may follow El Salvador's lead. Will people want to transact with Bitcoin when it circulates alongside the US dollar? That will be the biggest test. The plan is the brainchild of El Salvador's 40-year-old president Nayib Bukele, who says it will draw more people into the financial system and make it cheaper to send remittances. The country has bought 400 Bitcoins ahead of the rollout, with a market value of about $20 million at current prices. Businesses will be required to accept Bitcoin in exchange for goods and services, and the government will accept it for tax payments. Some 200 kiosks are set up to let people make deposits or withdraw their money in dollars. For an initial boost, citizens who download the government's Bitcoin wallet, Chivo, will receive $30 worth of Bitcoins in credit. A shadow government in Myanmar comprising of lawmakers loyal to Aung San Suu Kyi declared war against the military regime that seized control of the country 7 months ago. The acting president of the National Unity Government called on citizens to revolt against the junta. In a speech posted on social media, Dua Lashila also called on those working with the government, including civil servants, to abandon their posts and join the resistance. The National Unity Government has been labelled by the junta as a terrorist group. It consists of ousted lawmakers affiliated with Suu Kyi and her National League for Democracy party. The declaration of war signals an escalation in Myanmar's conflict. This also comes as Myanmar struggles with containing COVID cases. The military government has recently agreed to a 4-month political ceasefire so that humanitarian aid can be safely distributed in the country. That is all we have for you on AWANI tonight. Get the latest news updates on COVID-19 and COVID-19 vaccines from astroawani.com and Astro AWANI app. I'm Cynthia Ng. Thank you for watching.